Almost 7 years in a van, 55 countries, countless borders crossing into places that most people in the world would never ever go. And we loved almost every single minute of it. But there were some times, some really, really scary times. And we decided it is about time for us to give you a countdown of our 5 scariest moments living and traveling in a van.
Chile is a beautiful country. Absolutely gorgeous. Volcanoes, mountains, coast, seafood. Absolutely stunning. But to be honest with you, as we moved north and got into the more populated city areas, we found parking becoming an increasing challenge. The roads were narrow, the towns didn't allow for extra parking. There was just enough room for the cars and the traffic. There weren't really too many official camp spots. And when we arrived in Concepcion, we were at a loss.
Yeah.
There was nothing on Overlander. And we cruised around the city looking for a spot to park. And we found this area just outside of this mall. And the area was well lit. There was a lot of people playing in the little park in front, kids, children, families, cars passing by. And it just seemed like a safe place. Now, we're always extra cautious when we get into cities. We drove around the block a few times. I walked around the neighborhood. I did not see anything
No alarms.
that was a red flag.
Now I know a lot of you'd be like, well, you guys don't go to cities. What were you even doing there? We had to be in the city. It happens from time to time. We had visa and pet paperwork we had to deal with. And we had strategically planned to only have to stay in the city for one night. We even settled in early, put up all our blinds, checked the surroundings one more time. We're parked under this massive street light, crawled into bed around 8:30 or 8:45, and we're dozing off a little bit after 9.
Yeah, and it was just a normal night in van life. I think we had just gotten back from the mall, had a good evening, everything's good, and a rare occasion, Snow had fallen asleep early, I fell asleep, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
All right, guys, with no doubt about it, our scariest moment in the van. The voice is shaking. It's taking us a minute to get the camera. Oh, you all right, Curt?
Yeah.
Middle of the night. I don't even know what time it is. It's
Not that late.
It's only 10 o'clock. I don't know if y'all can see it, but we just woke up to someone banging on the window. Our 3M security film worked, but our window is shattered. We need to duct tape this. We'll be back in a minute. Definitely our scariest moment in the van.
Just real loud woke me from a dead sleep, a banging noise that shook the van and reverberated. The cats scattered, and I pulled the covers back to jump out of the bed. And as I jumped out of the bed, my feet got tangled in the sheets, and I'm trying to yell as I'm still hearing boom, boom. And the yell came out like a yipe. Yow! And it was just so spontaneous, so instant, and I just was so intent on getting up there and stopping the situation. I was worried about the guy getting in the van and doing something to us. I was worried about him smashing the window and the cats getting out. Everything happened so fast. It was so terrifying. And as I get up to the front of the van, the whole passenger window is just shattered.
All right. We gotta figure out what to do now. We, clearly, first thing in the morning, have to find a place to get a new window. I don't think there'll be any sleeping tonight, so I don't even really think we need to move. We're in a very lit up area, right by a very nice mall.
Cars around us.
There's cars all around us. There's cars driving by. It's not even 10 o'clock at night.
They were just trying to smash in and steal what's
Grab.
in the van.
Yeah.
Just smash and grab.
Well, I can tell you I've never saw Curt move that fast.
Well, I got hung in the bed and
blanket.
then I just screamed out loud.
He was
and
yelling so loud and I looked out the window.
my feet were caught in the bed and I just fell all the way down to the floor.
Alright guys, we're feeling a little vulnerable. At least I am. We'll see y'all later. We're okay. You know, Curt said it happened so fast, but for me, everything was moving in slow motion. And you flashback to our previous life, I had had a similar incident in our home. But when that happened, I was in our bedroom and the noise was happening, you know, a few hundred feet away downstairs at our kitchen door. And of course that was terrifying. But here in the van, if he would have broke that window, he basically would have been able to reach out and touch us, hurt us, grab us. And this animal instinct kind of takes over for Curt. For me, I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't make a sound. I couldn't take a breath. And it all felt like an hour, when in reality, it was probably 10 seconds. It took us a few minutes to realize we have to leave here.
Well, we knew we kind of needed to get out of the area. Obviously, it wasn't as safe as we thought, but really, we didn't have any place to go.
Yeah.
And so we thought for a minute and we found some truck stops out on the edge of town where semis can park.
Yeah.
And we
had
drove
to make the drive at night, and that's scary.
the long drive with the windows shattered. And we found a truck stop, and fortunately the next day we were able to get the window repaired and the new tent put on, and but it was scary.
Yeah, and it even had a traumatic effect on our kitties, because fast forward till today, 3 or 4 years later, if they hear a loud dong, or you know, like if Curt was working on the outside of the van and would hit something like that, they both freeze and look at me. So it wasn't just traumatic on us, it really just shattered how we felt inside the van. And that's why it makes number 5 on our scariest moments.
And these may not necessarily be in order, guys, but the next one I want to talk to you about is we were headed down the coast of Argentina. Now, a lot of people don't go down the coast of Argentina. They kind of go down the mountains, the Ruta 40. But this place was stunning. Many beautiful cliff-lined beaches with tons of beautiful birds. And as we moved down the coast, we got to the area where there was penguins. Now, some of these places where we went to see the penguins were pretty remote. We had to chase them on these gravel roads. And I can tell you the Patagonia, as you get south into Argentina, is windy.
Windy.
And it had been raining and raining, so it was windy and rainy and muddy.
And nothing for miles.
Nothing for miles.
No, I mean, we're talking like hour and a half drive through nothingness to get to these penguins.
We had just left where we saw the penguins. We had no cell phone signal. And down at this place in Patagonia, not only is it windy, but also the space between the gas stations is, you gotta, when you hit a gas station, you gotta fill up because you're gonna run out
at the next
gas station. Yeah. So anyway, we're headed down this road and a big gust of wind just comes and blows us off to the road.
All right, a big crosswind came, got us caught in the soft mud, pulled us down into the ditch, and we have quite a mess, guys. Quite a mess. about to go into our first recovery mode, Curt.
First one.
We got a plan. Let's see how it goes. Picture like a rogue wave, but it was a rogue wind gust. It was windy already, but this was insane. And again, it went into slow motion mode.
And I think the van has some kind of wind protection mode or something. Anyway, it felt so slow, like it just pulled me off the side of the road, and I couldn't correct it, I couldn't turn, and we just kept getting deeper and deeper into the mud, and we stopped.
Stuck.
We had no cell phone service. This was before we had Starlink. And this was only a couple months after Snow had her heart attack. And so she was in recovery mode, and well, we were stuck and we were scared.
And we had not seen any people on this road coming or going to the penguins. And
for hours.
You know, of course, we go into recovery mode. We get out, we start pulling out what we can out of the back. But to be honest, we're so buried in the mud, it was even hard. We couldn't get up to our storage at the attic. We were on such a steep angle, you know, and Curt was getting the shovels and trying to find stuff. There's no trees or poles or anything of any substance around us that we would be able to hook ourselves onto and try to help pull ourselves out. And Curt went to digging.
I was digging for like 4 hours, and we would dig. We would inch the van up about 6 inches.
Slide back down.
And then I would get out and dig. We'd move it up 6 inches more. Yeah. And the thing is, we could move forward, but we couldn't get out of the ditch. The angle kept pulling us in.
And while all this is going on, not one single car or person has made an appearance anywhere for as far as the eyes can see.
After about 6 hours, I'm covered head to toe to mud, and Snow is, at this point in time, freaking out because, well, of her heart condition and the remoteness, and how the heck are we gonna get out of here? And I said, look, I'm beat. My back was hurt, I was sick, I was muddy from head to toe, I couldn't do anything else. And also we were concerned about our fuel situation, so we had to be cautious.
Yeah, and our heater, it was cold at that time.
Yeah.
And it was rainy and wet, and our heater runs off the diesel, so we had to be conservative of that. We were not full of water.
No.
So we had to be really conservative of that. And Curt had got cleaned up a little bit and was resting, and a semi comes by. And man, I jumped out, and then the problem is, although by now on our journey we're able to speak a little bit of Spanish, we're out in rural Argentina. This man spoke no English and was kind to me to my face there, but didn't have the patience for the language barrier, but understood what was going on, and it sounded like he said he would send someone back for us. So we had hope.
Yeah.
And nobody came.
Nobody
and the
came.
sun starts to set, and nobody came.
Nobody came, and we woke up the next morning and we started thinking about it, and we were like, nobody's gonna just drive out here to see if we're okay. I mean, this is how remote this place was. Nobody's gonna drive 2 hours to come see if these people are okay.
And it was a little bit distraught in the van. I was feeling very vulnerable, very anxious, and to hit on the heart thing a little bit more, yes, I had been recovering from it for a couple of months, but we had made the big decision to not go home, to continue our journey, and we had literally just moved back in the van. And the plan was, you know, until we see how my heart's going to react, stay close to civilization. And we are literally in the middle of nowhere. And Curt gets back out and starts to go in again. I'm helping the best I can. I'm trying to get a few rocks or sticks or twigs to put under the tire. You know, we're trying. We're pulling stuff out of the van, and it's hopeless.
It's one of those situations where the good goes to worse. My shovel had broken.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't find a tow strap in the back of the van. I couldn't really pull stuff out of the van because we were knee deep in mud. And so it was just really a struggle. I worked for several hours, probably 5 or 6 hours. I was sick, I had it in my back, so I couldn't really work. And again, I found myself just worn out. I pulled out one of our chairs and sat in the middle of the road.
Well,
and was just trying to collect myself and figure out what the next move is, because we weren't really making any positive progress.
And it had been well over 24 hours. I think we were probably pushing 30 or so hours by now. And then on the horizon, this little bitty car gets closer and closer. And I'm watching them, but you know, I'd already been let down, and Curt's exhausted. And this man,
Frank, I think his name was Frank.
Yeah, there's this little family. It was the husband, the wife, and a daughter. She was probably 11 or 12. He hops out. He speaks no English. He looks. He didn't really say anything. He just started digging. He started digging. He did not care that he was dirty. He was on his hands and knees. His wife started helping us pull more twigs and sticks, and the little daughter.
And to be honest with you, she could see how asunder Snow was, and she was kind of trying to help him. I had gotten up and was trying to keep up with him, working, trying to move the van. We pulled some wires and some small ropes out of the back of his van, or out of his car, and tried to pull the van
their little
forward.
bitty car.
Their little car is screeching and jumping and bouncing, and the ropes are snapping.
We were trying.
And I gotta tell you, after about 3 hours of us now all being covered head to toe in mud, all exhausted, I told Frank, I said, guys, this is not gonna work. You guys should go on and, you know, leave us here and we'll figure something out. And they looked at me and said, we're not leaving you guys.
Yeah.
And
then at that point we decide, and the wife spoke a little broken English.
Yeah,
they were in the Argentina Navy.
We were able to communicate.
Yeah, we were able to communicate with them. And so I got in the car with the wife and the daughter, and we made the long drive to the main road, where there's supposed to be like these emergency call boxes, because there is no cell service out here. So we went to the emergency call box. She gets out and she calls, and she comes back with terrible news. She's like, they're not going to come. You know, you're too far out here. You're on your own. They're not coming.
Now,
and they were in the same situation we were. They had gassed up their car, and from there you can go to the Penguins and back, and you got to gas up again. You know, so we're almost out of gas. Now they're almost out of gas, but man, they were committed and in it with us.
So meanwhile, back at the van, me and Frank are back trying to dig the van out. And by this time, we had both worked to the point of exhaustion with zero progress. And this little SUV comes by and stops. And I asked them if they had a tow strap. And they kind of looked at me and said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from the United States. And it turns out they were from Ukraine.
Ukraine.
And this was right after the Ukraine war had broken out, and the US was doing a lot to help Ukraine. And they literally gave me a big hug and said, yes, we can help you. And so he pulled out a tow strap. We hooked a tow strap on. And I'm telling you guys, this SUV was pretty small, actually probably as small as the other one. But we knew we had one shot. We hooked it up, and we slowly inched the van out of there. And as we're driving, we pulled out, we gave big hugs. We were all so happy. We were literally, me and Frank were literally in tears. And as me and Frank are driving down the road to look for his wife and for Snow and their daughter, all of a sudden it dawned on me that I didn't even know what Frank's name was.
Yes.
And anyway, we got back to the road. The lady seen the van coming down the road, and it was cheers and it was celebration.
What was one of the most, we were so isolated, guys, and it was so hopeless, our situation. And I think, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like 36 hours that we were just, maybe even more, maybe close to 40, that we were just truly stranded and stuck when you added it all up. But to see the van coming through this, because it's wide open fields with big horizons, you know, to see the van coming, and me and his wife and even the little girl, we get out and we're like screaming. It's like one of the most anxious times of my life turns into one of the happiest in an instant when we saw that van. And they come flying up, blowing the horn, and they get out, and we don't know these people. They're strangers, and we're hugging them and kissing them and dancing on the side of the road.
amazing. But
Yeah.
that is not
Ooh.
the scariest
No.
time we had on the road, to be honest with you. We were in Africa and we were crossing a remote border in Nigeria into Cameroon. Now, when I say this is a remote border, this is a border that's not even on Google Map. This is a border where the road is just a little trade route, a little bouncy, rocky path through the pastures, through the mountains, and through probably some of the least maintained roads of our entire journey.
It's the infamous Bano border crossing. Legendary to overlanders, and anybody that researches this route is gonna know.
Now, the reason we took this route was because the only other route through there was through a very dangerous situation where there was ongoing wars. We would have needed a military export, and in hindsight, we would have gone that dangerous route instead of our route, because as we were going down this road, the conditions got worse.
This is hard, stressful driving. So we are not gonna try to drive like 7 and 8 hours on this. We have a spot picked out that looks like a nice overnight camp spot up here. And it's called On Top of the World on iOverlander. And it says right now in our Google map that it will take us an hour and 37 minutes to get there. And it is 42 kilometers. And that we should get there around 11:30. So when we get there, we'll tell you what time it is, and then we'll know how long it actually took us. But we are on the way, guys. This is what we've been planning on since, I don't know, for 4 months back in Spain. I always want y'all to know this. We prepare before we do something like this. We had researched. We had done massive upgrades on our van for the possibility that we might have to take this road. And nothing could prepare us for what we encountered that day. Nothing. The roads went from goat trails to, I don't know, washed out waterfall beds. It was unbelievable what we were driving on.
It started off as sort of a clay, muddy road. And in this part of Nigeria, they have monsoons. And when the monsoons come, the water just runs down and cuts rivers and leaves these cuts, sometimes 1 foot to 2 foot deep, to where you could just slide off and the van could literally just tip over.
And they're not uniform. They're not uniform. They're like sporadic here and there, and two might converge together and then split off. So you can't just straddle one. No, you're always maneuvering around these big washouts in the road.
And then we come to an area that's rocky because we're in the mountains, and it's a straight down elevation, no consideration for slope or anything like that, all rocks. I'm putting on the brakes, the van's sliding, kind of going where it wants because we can't stop it. It's rocking, it's rolling, it is tense in the van. And for one of the few times, it's not just snow that's turning green, it's me too.
Yeah, and we had been on all kinds of crazy roads around the world already, but like I've said, nothing can prepare you for this one. And it was so intense, and I was physically feeling the effects of it. I mean, I know you joke about I was going to throw up. I really was going to just throw up or faint or pass out. I couldn't take a deep breath. Finally, I figured out when we came to the really bad spots, I needed to get out. So I would have to get out. So I abandoned Curt in our van, which I just was certain was going to turn over. We were on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 2 wheels numerous times. And there were some points where Curt's trying to maneuver it around with some help of some locals who have obviously helped other people through here before. And from watching it from a distance, I'm literally crouched down, tears running down my face from fear, thinking I'm about to dry heave on the side of the road, watching our van look like it's about to snap in half at the axle. Just because it was just so contorted, it just didn't even look like it could possibly make it through. And then it'd come crashing back down onto all 4 wheels, and I could see Curt's face inside. And one thing you need to understand about this is, we've said it before, and unless you experience it, I don't think it'll ever sink into you guys. When you live full time in a van or an RV or an overlanding vehicle, it's not just a car. You know, it's not just the car you take back and forth to work. It is everything. And it was the home for our kitties. So this was everything. If something happens to this, that's indescribable what we would have to go through. But add on top of that our location.
Guys, we were so remote, and here's the thing. Some of these spots were so technical and tricky for the van. Again, not high clearance. We do have a 4x4, but we also have a long wheelbase. And so a lot of these places, these tricky spots, we'd have to back up, go a little ways. I'd be up on 3 wheels, then 2, I'd have to stop, back up, try a different approach. For 3 miles, it took us 2 days on this road of just back and forth, just trying to figure out. And I gotta be honest with you, after the first day, when we found a place to stop and rest for the night, I looked at Snow and I said, Snow, that was the first time I've ever been afraid that we're not gonna get this van out of here.
Yeah.
I hope things improve tomorrow, because I'm worried that we're not gonna get the van out of here. Now, what I will tell you is there were many water obstacles too. Big, cool bodies of water that we had to cross that came up on the side of the van. And there was also like these muddy hills after a river crossing, and we would just get up speed and we could just hear the bottom just dragging and pulling on the bottom.
And the van's barely got the power to get up it, and man, if it won't make it over that little hump at the top, you're gonna slide back down, and without the momentum, you never get it the second time. We ran into a few other travelers, and anybody you run to that is on this journey, I think you're gonna be connected for life, because you look at each other and you're doing your best to have this positive attitude that you're gonna get out. But everyone out there that's in an overlanding vehicle, now some of the Land Cruisers or whatever are designed for this, and that's different. But the bigger rigs like ours,
I never imagined Bano was going to be this bad.
I thought there'd be like 5 sections like that throughout the whole thing. I didn't think it'd be so much of it.
Just nothing we saw compares to what we just did. Nothing that we've seen compares to what we've done.
We have this look on our face. We're literally in a state of shock. And we're not just saying that. Your body, you literally are like, what is going on? You can't control your emotions. You're tense the whole time. And I can't think of a better moment than when we finally pulled up to that small little town and the horrible part was over. But it did continue. The road stayed bad, but whew, guys, the Bano border crossing was probably the worst 3 days of driving we've ever had to do. We
made it through, and shortly afterwards, we met some overlanders, Susie and Kim. We call them the Mobies, drive the big blue vehicle. And they described, they had the exact same scenario as us coming through there.
I want to say one thing about them. We had been talking to them on Facebook because we knew we were on the same path.
Hey Tim, how you doing? So this is a crazy story. You guys got to hear it out. So we were about a week ahead of these guys going through Nigeria and going across Bano. And they were messaging us and we were messaging them. And Snow told them, do not go through Bano. And they were just the same like us. They said, ECOC's bad. We don't want to go there. We're going through Bano. But they said, oh, these guys have a little Sprinter van. If they can make it, look at this big rig, guys. This thing's got giant tires, 4-wheel drive. Look at all that clearance. They said, if they can make it, we can make it. And after talking to her for a little while now, what do you think?
Horrible. Never, ever again. We thought we will die. We will never get this huge rig out of Bayo or Mano or wherever we were. It was like in the middle of nowhere. We broke down. We cannot recommend. And I don't know, I take my hats off to you guys.
We're just a little crazy.
With this van, it's impossible.
They were terrified like us. They didn't think they were going to make it through. And anyway, it's something that anybody does that route, we all know what we know.
And if, pretend you lose the van, it turns over, and in most cases, even in some remote places, you could find somebody to come out, help you turn it back over, get it upright, drag you to the nearest city. That is not going to happen in this part of the world. You're going to abandon your van. You're going to walk out of there with what you can carry, which was us with our cats, and then with my heart condition. And if you get lucky, a motorcycle might come by that puts you on the back of it. I mean, we were truly, if something would have happened to our van, it would have been life-threatening, probably.
I want to back up to earlier in our journey. I want to back up to really sort of our first scary moment, other than the normal stuff of crossing the border. And I believe we were in Panama, and we had found this beautiful waterfall, and we could park like right on top of where the waterfall drops, so we could see out of the van river, or we could see out of the van door, the sliding door, the river, and where it dropped onto the falls. A stunning spot, close to nature. We were so excited we found this place. We drove a little extra to get there, just outside of town, and we're sitting there eating supper, and
Started to rain.
I look out and it started to rain. No big deal. Well, it really started to pour. It came down super hard, and I started watching the river because we're sitting there looking at it, and the river just started coming up.
So fast.
And like 5 minutes apart, I said, Snow, this thing's coming up pretty fast. And she said, well, go get out and have a look at it.
I need to pull forward and back out, right?
I gotta look at it, hon.
Okay, you want the umbrella?
No. Oh, the river. You gotta get out of here.
Okay, honey, okay. Forward or backwards? Well, I don't know what to do.
I know you don't. That's why.
I mean, I can't see.
I understand.
Would we better just pulling up in there, right in here?
Snow, help me. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
I don't
trying
need suggestions. I need help. You gotta look in the mirrors.
Oh crap! Look at that. It's just a short gap on the road before it turns into the road again. Are you gonna try to back out or turn around?
I don't know, hon. I'm just going.
Okay. Oh, fuck, Curdy. I don't know. Oh, shit.
Help, don't panic. Help.
I'm not.
Help, mirrors, I need.
Keep going.
I can't see on my left side.
You just gotta go.
Well, I can't. I'm running a new tree.
Okay, pull forward here.
You gotta look. I need help.
What I think you should do is
Look for objects. I don't need instructions. I need you to look for objects.
you got nothing on my side. Nothing. If you come over to the right, you will pull up on a grass next to a fence where another car is parked, which may
Don't let me hit it.
All right, so you need to turn back your way. All right, keep going. Turn back your way. All right, straight. Stay straight. You got 2 or 3 feet on my side to get around this tree. You got 3 or 4 feet now. You're around the car.
I gotta get closer. I'm just killed the tree.
Okay. You got room to turn it sharp. There is a light pole. Keep turning. Now back your way.
Am I gonna hit anything? I need room. I got a big tree.
Okay, all right. Straight back. You're good. Straight. Or you can come my way if you need to. All right. Oh, fuck, Curt. Okay, you're gonna pull up on a grass island if we need to regroup because we got that big drop off on the road. You're on a grass island if you, okay.
But make sure I don't hit nothing, hon.
You're good. Get away a little, we're getting into the people's yard. Okay, straight. You can go your way a little. right, up on the road, up on the road. Oh, fuck.
Okay, I guess I'll log it.
Oh, and we're not on the road yet. We still got a big hump.
All right, guys, we were trying to surprise you. We're parked up here at the top of a waterfall. Beautiful vista. And all of a sudden it started pouring down rain. And this river started coming down the road that we were in. The waterfall, the whole river started rising. We backed up out of there in emergency, 4-wheel drive. You can see it. It is a river and a flood.
We are not out yet, Curdy.
We are not out yet. We got to get out, but I wanted to show you guys what's going on. We are in a river. We are going.
We should go. This is, I don't know where the case is, so I don't know.
I can't see on your side.
I don't have the case to put this away. Stop, stop, stop! Go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward. Okay, turn left. Go right up here and stop.
We got up we got up to the main road, and I felt a huge sense of relief because at this point in time, the water had let up, the rain had let up a little bit, and we were out of sort of the raging river stage, but I got calm, pulled the camera out. Snow's like, put that thing away.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started to back up a little bit, and all of a sudden, the ditch from the side of the road, which I couldn't see because it was underwater, was there. The back tire dropped up in that thing, and we came off of the ground.
Almost turned over right there.
Almost turned over. I put it in drive, put the camera away, and stopped talking to you guys.
Yeah.
And then I got a stern lecture
yes.
before we got out of there safely. We were terrified, and it was our first time dealing with this.
Wow.
We did adjust how we pulled into parking places.
We learned.
As a consequence.
Yeah.
So it was a lesson learned. We always made sure we had a good escape plan, especially in scenarios like that. But
that was something. And
that was scary.
I don't know if it's coming through in the video, guys, but sitting here in our van,
recounting
it brings
the time.
it back. Like I was tensing up when we were just talking about that. It's very emotional.
Well, let's close out with the scariest time we had in van life. Now, I will say, some of you might be thinking Snow's heart attack. We're going to come back and talk about that one on another video. But we were in remote Africa. We had just crossed out of sort of the most European part of Africa, which is Morocco, northern Africa. We came down through the deserts, and we were in Senegal, and we had just crossed the border from Senegal into Ghana.
Guinea.
Into Guinea-Conakry. We had just crossed the border into Guinea-Conakry. Now, what I will tell you about this particular region is there are only certain borders that overlanders, people like us, traveling like us, can cross. And some of it has to do with paperwork, some of it has to do with safety, some of it has to do with logistics. And a lot of these are not in the most trafficked, most modern places, and that's where this was. Yeah. And we rolled through this.
We're in a part of Africa where it's normal for even the good-sized towns to not have power and running water. And we had just driven through this little town, Kundara. And it was a great little town. We were able to fill up with gas. I think we even got a little money out of the ATM.
We got a little money out of the ATM.
And we were headed on. Everything was great. We had stopped for lunch, and we're back on the road, and I'm driving.
Now, I will tell you, in this part of Africa, it was tough to supply up. So we have kind of a code word. When it's time to get groceries and all that stuff, we go. There wasn't a lot of refrigeration in this area, so we picked up a few items. We didn't have a lot of food. We were going to try to make it to the big city where we had to get some visas and other stuff. And just as we got out of the town, Snow was driving.
I was driving. Car's broke. We just broke a belt.
Broke a belt.
And just, boom, this loud thump from the engine part of the van.
And I heard it, and I was startled, and I looked over at Snow, and she's like,
We got no power.
nothing. The van's dead.
The van, it just instantly died. My initial thought was a big belt had snapped.
Yeah, we thought it was a belt.
So we pull over, we get in there.
We coasted to a stop. We had no engine
barely
power.
off the road, but we were in a place where we couldn't pull way off the road or we would have been, in a ditch, but we did get off the road. Curt got out. It was hot. Oh my Lord, it was hot and dry here. And he popped the hood.
We're talking 95 to 105 degrees range. And I got out, I popped the hood, and I looked into the engine.
And there's metal bits.
There's just chunks of metal coming out of the top of the engine. And I almost puked.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be so crass, but that's what happened. I almost vomited right there. And then I thought to myself quickly, how am I gonna tell Snow about this? And there was no beating around the bush. I just went around and said, we are in big trouble, hon.
Yeah.
And
at that moment in time, we thought the whole engine had blown.
And just like always, I always feel like it's my responsibility to kind of turn it up and help get us out of the situation. And I said, listen, hon, I know you're terrified, but we're gonna work our way out of this just like we always do. I just need you to kind of hang tough and help with me. I'll flag down some help and we'll get to town and we'll figure this out. So I pull out my chair and sit on the side of the road, and for an hour, there were cars and motorcycles coming by. Now this is a French-speaking country, so the language barrier was really tough, and mostly tribal languages, so the French is broken. And so we were struggling to communicate before we finally found these guys who came along with the big truck.
The workers in the big truck, 3 of them, they stopped. They were incredibly kind. One thing I will tell you is, of course, you guys would always come in the comments and tell us to use Google Translate. In this part of the world, not everyone can read. So you can't put a phone in their face and expect them to read. And although they spoke French in Guinea, it was with some strange accent. So if you used the French translating lady on Google Translate, they didn't understand her. So it was really hit or miss on being able to communicate. But these guys were wonderful. They called someone with a truck to come get us, hook us up. That was a bumpy, jerky, boom, breaking the rope a few times, pulling us back to town. And they were taking us to the mechanic. And we pulled in basically right on the side of the main road into this field with a bunch of broken down cars and a little wood shelter with 5 or 6 little guys working underneath. And that was the mechanic.
Well, there was no electricity at the place, let me tell you. And the tools were kind of, a lot of them were kind of like welded together, homemade tools. So they didn't have like a full set of wrench. And if you're thinking, why didn't we wait for a flatbed or tow truck or something like that? They just simply don't exist there, guys. The tow truck was about $170 US. Now, you might think, well, that's not very much. But let me tell you, for Africa money, that was probably about 4 times more than what someone would expect to pay, maybe even a higher multiple than that. We didn't care. We just wanted to know, could they fix the vehicle? And it seemed desperate at a place like this. They could get the parts that we needed and all that stuff. And I gotta tell you, it wasn't long before about 7 or 8 kids were in the hood trying to take that little, and it turns out we had blown the turbo booster.
Yeah.
That was what the metal was, that were the chunks. So they went to pulling that off to try to figure out what they could do. And
yeah, so the first day they jumped right in and went to work, but of course we can't communicate at all. The next day rolls around, they're trying to find some sort of part that can help us, is what we think is happening. Now meanwhile, we're 1,000,000% stuck in this town that has no power and no running water, but there's a little store we can buy bottles of water next door. We've got a little bit of food in the van. And then they start to formulate a plan. One of the young kids is gonna go get the part. It's gonna take him a few days. Come to find out later, he went several countries over, which would be a whole journey in itself, but we had to give him the money in advance. So we had to go down to the ATM, pull out a bunch of money, give him that money, and he took off on a moto taxi, headed to go get this part. And it took him forever, days to come back.
It was $700 we gave him up front. And you know, this kid just jumps on a motorcycle and off he goes. Now, understand that he doesn't have a car, and we know the only modes of transportation are motorcycle taxis or bush taxis.
Yeah.
And these bush taxis, they load these things up to the top. They don't go to the next spot until these cars are full. I mean, we didn't know if he was going to come back, if he was just going to go with our money.
Yeah.
I mean, $700 over there is a lot
and thousands
of
of dollars.
money.
Yeah.
But miraculously, and these guys got little like old style flip phones.
Yeah.
And miraculously, he went over there and was able to find a used turbo booster.
Now, but in the meantime, we're sitting there in this field where it's 105 degrees every day. We've got limited solar power. We can't use our second alternator because the car won't start. So we're conserving power. We don't have a lot of food. Water's okay, we can get water. But the scariest part of this to me is when you're in remote regions like this where you're close to areas that could be a little bit sketchy or scary. This town wasn't, but we were close to some borders of some countries that are no-go zones, especially for American citizens. And normally when you're going through there, you're fine because you stay a day or two and you move on. So by the time word spreads that there's overlanding vehicles stranded, you know, kind of like easy pickings, you're long gone. But we had been there at this point 3 or 4 nights. Word was starting to spread. We were like almost a little...
we were the things you come and look at.
Yeah,
people would
were
just
coming
come
to look at us.
Look in the screen door. And the reason why, we had plenty of solar, but we had to run the fans all the time. We had to have electric to cook. We had Starlink.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Oh man.
Fortunately, we had Starlink, so we were able to maintain communication with our family and friends and let everybody know we were okay and what our situation is. But we seriously thought we might need to get evacuated out of there based on the circumstances.
This would be the first time we were wondering, do we need to call the embassy for help? The answer was no, because it was not something they'd be able to help us with. And we were trying to figure out how we could tow the van out of there. In this country, there is just not such a thing as a flatbed wrecker truck. There is not a lowboy that you could load the van up on and be hauled to the nearest city. So Curt's literally starting to get to the point of, how do I evacuate Snow and the kiddies to the city while I figure out how to stay here and get this resolved? And you know, on Google Maps we could find this little airport that maybe we could get to, but it had been, you know, abandoned years ago. Trying to establish some sort of safe transportation where we felt comfortable with me and the 2 kiddies making a 12-hour drive, you know, to the city and having to check into a hotel, and nothing was working out. We were, once again, we were truly stranded in a bad way.
Snow did a great job of holding it together, but by about day 9, the nerves were frayed and coming apart, and I just knew that if he didn't make it back within 24 hours, that I was going to have to figure something out with Snow to get her out of there and the cats.
Yeah.
But and one thing, guys, it was so incredibly hot. We had tarps draped over the van for shade. We, of course, had the window open. Our air conditioner didn't work. We had the sliding door, the fans going the whole time. And in the freezer, we would put dish rags of ice water, freeze them, and put them on our head until they thawed. We weren't able to sleep too well. And one night, when we were going to bed, these kids came around and were throwing rocks at the van. And so when I got out, they ran or whatever. But it was scary, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got really no defense in this area.
Ducks. Yeah.
And so after this happened a couple times, we were starting to feel really vulnerable. And right next to us, there were some adults. And it's common in the Africa culture that a lot of people are out late in the evenings and in the dark and in the night, because that's when it's the coolest. And I went over to a family, and again, they speak, you know, tribal languages and some broken French. And I just explained to them that, you know, we're nervous and these kids are throwing rocks, and asked them if they could do something about it. And these adults were so kind. They stopped it like that. We never had another incident. And guess what, guys? the next day, I think his name was Marcellus.
It was Marcellus.
The next
He
day,
came back.
Marcellus comes rolling in on a motorcycle with a turbo.
Tears of joy.
Oh my.
Or relief, not
Yeah.
full relief, but like partial relief. I mean, I just emotionally snapped right there. Oh.
It took a day for him to put it on. And to be honest with you, it wasn't the exact right turbo or turbo controller or whatever. We still had many hours, a 2 days drive to get to the capital city.
With limited power.
We could do it. Since the van would work, the turbo would not kick in, so we didn't have much power. And I gotta tell you, there was a couple hills that we went up to, we literally just didn't have enough power to get up the hill. And one time the van came to a stop and I said, Snow, we can't go. And she's like, put it in 4-wheel drive,
Yeah.
you know, drop it into low. And we did, and we were able to just inch over the hill. And we learned the whole rest of the way, white knuckling, anytime we were coming down a hill, maintain our speed, maintain our momentum so we could get up the next hill.
It was mentally exhausting.
I mean, it was easily the toughest 10 to 12 days we had in the van.
Without a doubt, hands down, the hardest part of our journey.
The scariest, the hardest, and probably had the longest lasting impact on us as it relates to kind of the risks that are involved with traveling to some of the places that we did.
Yeah, but those were some horrible times that have lifelong impacts. I actually think Bano and maybe even Guinea a little bit, and people may think this is kind of reaching too far, but it's not. Maybe a little PTSD from that Bano border crossing. It was extreme. So there are extreme and scary moments that happen when you go on a journey like this, but man, they're outweighed by the good times.
It was an amazing journey, and even the challenging times made us stronger. Made us better. Worth it all the way. We do everything again except that Bano crossing.
No, we would not do that ever again. We would have a military escort and go through a war zone first, literally.
Anyway, guys, that's our scariest times in the van. We did have a few more scary times, but we had loads more good times. And in the next video, we're going to share some of those with you. So, one thing we learned about YouTube is everybody wants to see us either die or come close to it or maimed. So all of our scariest videos, our worst times in the van, typically get the most views. So just because we're going to have a happy video next week, please come back and see us. Don't leave us hanging.
Do us a favor, if you've got friends that have not seen this journey with us the first time around and you're watching this recap with us, share us with your friends. We want to share this crazy journey with more people.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers. It started. It took a little bit.
Now that's a wrap on this adventure. But if you loved joining us, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell too. That way you're always the very first to know exactly when our next video drops. And for all the updates between videos, come follow us over on Facebook and Instagram.